Hello and welcome to Mythical Meeples. Today I'll be reviewing the martial archetype, the Void Dancer, for D&D 5e from Wayfarers of the Farwood. So Wayfarers of the Farwood is a D&D 5th edition supplement containing a new setting, campaign and additional player rules. It takes us to the world of Lawson, a world dominated by the constantly changing Farwood and terrifying terror launches. Wayfarers of the Farwood is broken down into 5 main sections. The first introduces the world of Lawson. This includes information about the primal and lesser gods of the world and the hidden harmony. The second chapter talks about running the game in Lawson, with rules for travelling through different terrain and terror launches. The third and largest section of the book contains the Iron Thieves Campaign. The fourth section contains extra rules for players, including the Spirit Chanter class and additional subclass for each class from the player's handbook. The final section is the appendix, containing rules for the Sun Order monks, random material tables, and woe encounter generators, a set of special encounters for the world of Lawson, although there's nothing to stop you using these rules and encounters in your own settings. Today, however, my review will be focusing on the martial archetype, the Void Dancer. So Void Dancers are able to sense the changes in the weave of magic, be it the casting of a spell or an enchantment. They specialise in being unaffected and detected by spells and can destroy a spell with their blades. It's worth noting, however, they are not users of magic themselves. So at level 3, they get 3 different features. The first of these is Void Aura. Void Aura means they can't be targeted by divination-based magic, and when they are targeted by other spells, they roll the percentile die. If they roll equal to or lower than their fighter level plus 10, the spell has no effect on them, unless they use their reaction to temporarily ignore this feature. And this feature functions even if the creature is dead or unconscious. This is good if you come up against a lot of spellcasters, but if your allies have lots of beneficial spells, such as Bless or Aid, you may need to use your reaction to benefit from them. It can also make healing problematic for you, as there's a chance allies may not be able to heal you if you're reduced to 0 HP and unconscious. The second ability we get at level 3 is Weave Cognizant. This means that you can sense magical effects created from spells within 10 feet of you. You can make an Arcana check, the DC equaling 10 plus the spell level, to learn the spell's level and school of magic. So this is essentially a variant on the Detect Magic spell, without your character learning magic. It's useful for detecting some magical traps and learning more about your enemy. There's also an additional rule which I won't cover, which just for the Farwood, and it just means that you can sense terror launches. The third feature we get, Attenuating Strike. This means when you hit a creature with a melee weapon, you can make it roll a dex saving throw, the DC equaling 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier, and on a failed save you choose one effect from the following list. The effects last 1 minute until otherwise stated. A creature can only be affected by the same option once a time, but can be affected by different options simultaneously. Any saving throws mentioned in each strike are made against your Attenuating Strike DC, which is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, regaining all expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. So there are 5 options. The first is Hamstring Cut. This reduces a creature's movement by 5 times your intelligence modifier. The creature can use an action to end this early if they want to. So this is one of the features that doesn't rely on the enemy being a spellcaster, really useful for making enemies immobile or losing their action on their turn. The second feature is called Mind Cleave. If the creature is concentrating, it loses concentration and gains disadvantage on concentration checks. At the end of its turn, it can make a Constitution saving throw to end this. So this is great for breaking concentration on an enemy spellcaster, but it's useless against non-spellcasters, and it also stops them from being able to maintain concentration on future spells as easily. So the third strike is Nerve Puncture. Nerve Puncture means that any DC as part of a spell or ability the creature uses is decreased by your intelligence. The creature may use an action in its turn to end this. So this is again mostly good against spellcasters, but also has some use against other creatures like dragons that have effects that rely on DC. Most creatures won't want to waste their action ending this effect, so it means that if they are, they're not attacking you. But if they are attacking you and not ending this effect, then it's less likely to do as much damage to you. The fourth strike is Reason Impact. So when the target makes a saving throw, it subtracts your intelligence modifier from the roll. It can again use its action to end this. So this is really useful if your team has a lot of effects that require saving throws. Also allows you to use further attenuating strike features more easily against that creature if it doesn't end it early. The final strike is Respiration Blow. So the creature can't use reactions and can only use an action or bonus action on its turn, not both. At the end of its turn, it makes a Wisdom saving throw, ending in effect early on a successful save. So this is great against stronger creatures that make use of their bonus actions or reactions readily, but less useful against lower level creatures which may not. Knowing your enemy will allow you to make the best use of this strike. So overall, this feature is your only feature that doesn't really work on non-spellcasters. Relies on your intelligence, so you have to increase your intelligence to make full use of this feature. So the next feature we get is at level 7 called Spellbreaker Vanguard. You can use a reaction to make a melee attack against a creature that tries to cast a spell within range. So it's a bit like an attack of opportunity, but if they cast a spell instead. So this grants you a feature similar to that available from the Mage Slayer feat, and is useful if you can get close enough to an enemy caster. Against non-casters, you gain nothing from this feature though. So at level 10, we gain Halcyon Mind. When you use your Attenuating Strike feature, which you got at level 3, the creature takes damage equal to intelligence of the same type as your weapon. They take this damage even if they pass the save against the strike, and that's really beneficial. So this is a nice buff to your Attenuating Strike feature, which is great if you have a high intelligence, as you'll be able to deal more damage and use your strike feature more often. It's less useful if you have a low intelligence, however. Level 15, we get Weave Ripper. So when a creature casts a spell within 30 feet, you can use your reaction to roll a melee attack against the spell's level plus 10. On a success, the spell is countered. You regain the ability to use this feature after finishing a short or long rest. So this is a melee version of Counterspell, really good if you don't have a wizard in your party that can learn to Counterspell. You have a fairly good chance of stopping most spells. At level 15 you have a plus 5 bonus to your proficiency bonus, and ideally will have a plus 5 bonus to your melee weapon. Probably strength, but possibly dex. With magic weapons this could be even higher. It allows your party to save their spell slots for other spells as well. At level 15 you're much more likely to come up against creatures that cast spells. However, if you don't come against many spellcasters, you won't get the opportunity to use this feature much. So at level 18, we got our final feature, which is Void Dancer. So as an action, you can disable or enable your Void Aura feature. You can also use your action to subtract 50 from your Void Aura feature. So this is useful if you need your allies to cast spells on you, good if you come up against non-caster. However, it does use your action. So you may find it more useful to attack than use this ability, or switch this feature off if your players want to end spells like Aid on you and turning it back on for combat. At this level you should come up against spellcasters, meaning you can stop harmful spells from hitting you, but again if you're in a low magic campaign you won't make a lot of use of this feature. So overall, I love the theme of the Void Dancer. The idea of a fighter dedicated to fighting magic users is awesome, and their abilities are great if you come up against lots of spellcasters. However, if you don't often fight spellcasters or in a low magic campaign, a lot of the features of the subclass become void, leaving you with only Attenuating Strike and Halcyon Mind, which gives you a benefit to your Attenuating Strike. I feel it would be useful if it gained a benefit against other area effect abilities, such as Dragon's Breath, as well as spells. If you don't fight a lot of spellcasters, then in most cases you are much better off playing a different subclass, such as the Battle Master, and taking the Mage Slayer feat. Alternatively, you could play as a fighter to level 3 to benefit from the level 3 features Void Aura, Weave Cognizant, and then Attenuating Strike, and then multi-class into another class. As I stated, I love the theme of this subclass, but before picking it, it's definitely something you want to talk with the DM during session 0 about how likely you are to fight magic users. Otherwise, you just may find yourself not using a lot of your abilities. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. This all helps me grow as a channel, helps me be seen. Remember as well, you can support me by becoming a member of Mythical Meeples, where you get lots of extra content, or you can support me on Patreon as well, where again you get some extra content. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.